sneak photos of girls in bathing suits to make a calendar out of them so they can make money, pretending to be disabled so he can kiss a girl. Like, there's a lot of really shitty things that this kid did.
But always did it with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And convinced you, the audience, that he was not pure evil.
Yeah. It's all fun. He's the protagonist.
Time out.
Something wrong? Have you told the teachers how I feel about them?
Oh, yes. And our response is unanimous. We strike!
They strike.
And we go skiing.
Welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast, coming at you from the Slice on Oak Studios. I am Mayor David O, the city of Brandon, and with me, as always, is my brother.
That's why nobody sees my hair.
Well, there it is again. Hey, Gabriel Johnson, save us from that.
Dave, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
I am well.
Should we get started?
Let's do this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is draft day. TV villains. So we decided that we wanted to do some TV-based content because we don't talk enough about TV, I don't think. And we wanted to get a little bit away from movies because we spend a lot of time on movies. And we thought, what better way to talk about TV than to look at the characters that are sometimes the most enjoyable, the villains.
Yes.
For those of you that don't know, Draft Day is the episodes of the podcast in which we take a category, we go through, we create a list of 12 individuals. And in this case, we have all villains from various different shows. Then we each take turns doing a snake draft where we select one of each of them. We can select 3 from the board and can go one time off of the board to throw a little bit of mix in there. And but we all must have 4 by the time we're done. And we must have 3 that are on the board.
Oh, you're the worst kind of autistic.
Dude, I am rough today.
Thanks for explaining how drafts work.
Dude, I am rough today. Even as I'm talking, I'm like, Jesus, I can put everybody to sleep. Scott, you drew the top straw, so you'll be going first. I will be going second. Gabe will be going third and fourth, and then we'll work our way back. The list that we've created for this week is as follows. The Chicken from Family Guy.
Yes.
Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Newman from Seinfeld. Speaking of Seinfeld, Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. The Trinity Killer from Dexter. Shredder from TMNT. Carmen Sandiego from Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? This one's kind of a fun one. Skyler from Breaking Bad. of all people in Breaking Bad, the villain is Skyler.
Is the innocent wife.
Also, a little bit of a curveball. Gordon Ramsay from everything that Gordon Ramsay has ever been involved with. Zach from Saved by the Bell. The Gang from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Each and every one of them.
Each and every one of them. And then Caillou from Caillou.
Caillou.
Absolutely 100%. So it's quite the list we have here. You can tell how our text message chain went as we were going. It basically devolved from like actual villains to who are characters that you fucking hate. So Scott, you have the first pick in the villain draft. And who are you selecting?
Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, man, that's an excellent selection. First overall villain in the history of the draft.
History of television.
Gordon Ramsay. Go after it.
So I just went on Google and typed in a lot of these people's names. I did Caillou, villain. Read something about him. Sure. Zach from Saved by the Bell as a villain. Got a whole list of all the things that he did.
Oh, yeah.
And for Gordon Ramsay, I just got a 20-minute video of him screaming at people that are just trying their best to cook a lobster.
Yeah.
What is that there? What is that?
This is...
Yes, fucking raw! Raw!
Stop that.
Come.
Stop it. In what world is that behavior fucking acceptable, let alone celebrated?
Where's the lamb sauce?
Like, it just drives me nuts. You're just screaming at these people, get this fucking thing on the plate right now. And then they get it on the plate and bring it to you, and you're like, it's fucking raw. Why is it raw? Well, because you were fucking screaming at me for 3 minutes to get the fucking thing on the plate. Oh, God. I can't stand it. You know, working in the industry.
Oh, fuck off you fat, useless sack of fucking Yankee-danky doodle shite.
Can you even imagine
Oh, man.
working for somebody like that?
No.
Well, we've talked about this. So I bartended at our brother-in-law's restaurant while you were cooking at our brother-in-law's restaurant. And there was one day where, like, it just happens. I don't care who you are. If you're in the restaurant industry, bartending, cooking, whatever it is, at some point, everyone's going to get overwhelmed and it becomes very stressful.
Yeah.
And you saw my breaking point where everything just kept going wrong and there was no, in your head, there's no possible way to get back in front of this.
Nope.
And I walked back into the kitchen and my fucking eyes were the size of dinner plates. And you guys just started laughing. I don't even think anyone said anything. You just started laughing.
Everybody just saw your face. Like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah, they broke Dave. They broke me. So
Yeah.
now imagine that the person with you is screaming at you to get fucked.
Yeah, yeah,
Idiot sandwich.
Yeah. You're terrible at your job. You fucking suck. You fucking donkey.
And the other part to that too is that he then has created a culture in which people that are there think that that's
They
what
think
this
it's
is.
okay to do it. And all
Yep.
the people that are learning underneath him
Yes.
are going to turn around and they're
Yep.
going to do that to the next people that work for them.
Yep.
And it's just fucking horseshit. I cannot fucking tolerate it.
In an industry that is stressful and full of, I can't tell you how many times I've watched fights between servers and line cooks. It's insane. That's already the culture that is there.
Right.
For you to then be the head of that and perpetuate a continuation.
Perpetuate and
Yes.
condone and build it up.
It's the right answer. It is the correct. It is the correct answer. As someone that has stressed the fuck out about, and it's not life or death, right? It's dinner. It's fucking dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's sitting there screaming, nobody has their food yet. It's not fucking McDonald's, okay? These people are paying $200 for a plate. They can wait another 10 minutes.
Okay. We could go on for Gordon Ramsay forever.
Yes, I can.
That just took me a real long time to edit, so that's going to be fun. Thank you, Gordon Ramsay, for that, you villain.
Yeah, sorry.
An excellent selection. Off the board, Gordon Ramsay.
You guys are a fucking bunch of losers.
I am going to go on my selection with a villain that I really enjoyed this show. I was told multiple times by multiple people that you don't need to continue on after this character is gone.
God damn
So
it.
I am going with the Trinity Killer from the show Dexter.
Was my first pick. And you
here-
don't. Season 4, you're good.
Well, I believe he is season 4.
Yeah.
It's season 5. Yeah. So this show ends, and I have committed to this. This show ends after season 4 when the Trinity Killer's storyline is wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye, Dexter Morgan.
He is the perfect villain for that show. That show is pretty good when it starts. John Lithgow as the Trinity Killer in season 4 of Dexter is some of the best television you can possibly watch.
Agreed.
And it is mainly because of that villain. That show needed that character, and it is fantastic. And I have not watched a single episode since that finished. Now, granted, I was a little behind. I do this a lot with shows. Breaking Bad's another one where I'll be behind. I kind of let people let me know when shows fail. Yellowstone, great example. Everyone, it's the best thing that's ever happened. It's the best thing that's ever happened. I'm like, I'm gonna wait until I find out when to stop watching this. And with this, I'm so glad that I did because I've heard nothing but negative things since then. However, I cannot say enough about how awesome season 4 of Dexter is. And it is all because of my selection, the Trinity Killer. Gabe, you got words.
Trinity Killer is the correct choice. It's the first overall pick because they named him the Trinity Killer because he killed 4 people at a time. They knew he killed 3. The fourth, he always started with a young boy who he'd dress up in a cowboy outfit and make him play with trains and then bury him in cement. So they never found those bodies. But then he would move on to a young woman and slit her femoral artery.
Ugh.
And then to a mother of two and make her jump off of a tall building. Then a father of two. He'd bludgeon them to death with a hammer.
Jesus, dude.
You know why?
Why?
So when he was 10 years old, he was watching his older sister in the shower. And when she saw him watching her, she freaked out and fell through the glass and slit her femoral artery
Oh, Jesus.
and died. And then his mom blamed him and was real depressed, so she jumped off of a building. And his dad was a raging alcoholic and blamed him and was an asshole. And somehow somebody bludgeoned him to death with a hammer.
Oh, somebody. Somebody.
We never know who. They never solved that one.
Well, a little boy in a cowboy outfit, probably. Yeah, great show. And again, it completely falls apart. Absolutely falls apart after that. So I hear.
It doesn't fall apart, but it's just formulaic. Like the way they were able to get the Trinity Killer in at the right time for that series and just freshen it up. And that season is just amazing because of John Lithgow and the Trinity Killer.
Yeah.
You could finish watching it. I wouldn't recommend you don't, but it doesn't get better.
No,
it goes downhill.
No.
I have a very good view of that show. I don't need to taint it with mediocre versions of what I've already watched.
Seasons 5 and 6 were still good,
Okay.
I would say. They weren't great like season 4 was, but season 7 is 100% dog.
Yeah.
Terrible TV.
Well, and you're going to get that with some of these other characters as well. So, Gabe, your first selection, please.
I'm going to take the Trinity Killer too.
A villain move.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I don't know. You
I love
blew
it.
it all
I
up.
knew you were going to do that.
I'm going to go with King Joffrey.
Yep.
From Game of Thrones.
Yep.
And he was just a despicable little shit.
Let's talk about Joffrey for just a minute. I think in terms of villains, this is as straight villain as you can get.
He's pure evil. He's a little
Yep.
10-year-old who's been raised entitled to the throne and to the crown and doesn't answer to anybody.
Nope.
His mom destroyed him. I think Cersei might be the villain here.
Cersei probably is the villain, and I think the thing that Game of Thrones did really, really well before it as well falls off a cliff, is you keep thinking that there are redeemable qualities within these characters, and they did a good job of both Cersei and Joffrey. You thinking that one of them's got to be worse than the other, so they keep pushing you to think that there'll be a redeemable quality in the other, and they just keep one-upping themselves to where you're like, no, these people are literally just pure evil. And Joffrey especially, I think they did a very good job of you knowing this kid is completely messed up, but then you thinking he's going to make the right choice.
Hoping he does the not terrible thing.
Yeah. Because it's always you're well aware that the decision he has to make is the worst possible decision you can make. Will he or won't he?
And
Spoiler alert.
he does.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
He makes the wrong decision. So excellent choice. Thoughts on Game of Thrones as a whole?
You can stop after season 4. I thought it was. I think The Sopranos is the best series ever.
Okay.
If Game of Thrones would have had a halfway decent
A
ending,
serviceable ending.
yeah, just anything. Even if they would have been riding motorcycle down the highway with House, right? Okay, fine.
I think the thing that drives me nuts about Game of Thrones is they were in such a rush to be done, and then just went right ahead and started making the prequel series as well. So what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
Like, why were you in such a rush to end what you were doing? I know you thought people might lose interest and you don't want to have that, but instead what you did was create dog shit because you were in such a hurry to get these things done that none of it makes any sense. The timelines are so bizarre.
Oh, season 1 to get from Winterfell to the Wall takes a lot of time. By the end last season, you can get from north of the Wall to King's Landing in like 15 minutes.
On foot.
On foot.
On foot, while carrying a large hammer or axe or whatever he had. I said that we had a poll to see who was going to be named the king. I still stand by the fact that Gendry, or no, was it
Gendry?
Gendry, yeah. He is the rightful king. And I thought if you go back and watch season 1, they're so setting it up for him to make his way up into the crown. And then at some point they just cast him aside and forget about him. And I was like, I'm telling you, this guy that just has disappeared for 3 seasons.
Turns out he was written out of the show.
Yeah, turns out he can run really, really, really fast.
I was always a Jon Snow fan for king.
Yeah, but I wanted a curveball. I wanted to be like, oh shit. Okay. Anyways. All right. Second pick as well.
Oh, Larry David.
That's a really good one.
So this guy never found a fight he didn't want to partake in.
Except a physical one.
Except a physical one. Yeah. Just a battle of wits. But he just is constantly annoying everybody around him and everybody he encounters on the smallest, most trivial bull. I absolutely love this man. his one of his best friends in the show, Richard Lewis, passed away. With a heart attack this week. They were born in a hospital, the same hospital, 3 days apart. They went to the same summer camp as kids at 12 years old. And Richard Lewis absolutely fucking hated Larry David. Intentionally beaned him when they were playing baseball against each other at camp. At 12 years old, he identified that Larry David is a pain in the ass.
That's how you become friends. I had, when we were 15 years old, I had someone that went on to become friends with who intentionally beaned me. He was the best pitcher in baseball at the time. I was only good at 2 things, striking out and hitting home runs. So he chose to just hit me with the baseball, and I hated him. And then we became good friends because I was like, remember that time you hit me with the ball? And he just kind of smirked at me. I was like, okay, this is a person I like.
Yep.
I will not confirm nor deny the beaning of you on purpose.
What a bunch of crap!
Interesting, though. I didn't know that. And I didn't follow up to find out why Richard Lewis died. I didn't know it was a heart attack. It seems not a fit for him.
No, he has Parkinson's. You figured that would be the door he took out.
Yep.
When heart attack.
Yeah. I will say this, though. He was getting very old. And so now we just have good memories. Much like season 4 of Dexter, the time had come for Richard Lewis, and we appreciate everything you did, Richard Lewis.
Richard Lewis is credited with From Hell.
What?
Like the babysitter from Hell?
Really?
Yeah. The mayor from Hell?
Yeah.
He's the guy who
is
credited with creating that bit, that phrase.
Well, Johnny Depp owes him a big contract. I like the pick. I will say, Scott. Well, first of all, Scott, thoughts on Larry David? Do you watch Curb at all? New season's on.
I've seen a couple episodes. Okay. Not much.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I love it. We've talked about this previously. Our wives hate.
A little too much yelling for my wife.
Yeah, and Kelly says the same thing. It's so weird. She's like, it's just people yelling at each other. It's just people fighting. And I go, you just watch cat fights of women who are just trying to screw the same guy in a closet. That's your show.
Yeah.
Larry David is just saying what I want to say to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, like you said, trivial shit.
I love it.
Like, I don't know.
He shows up for his doctor's appointment at 10 and doesn't get in and throws a bitch fit because I had an appointment at 10.
Why is this child getting ice cream before me? There's a part of it that I love and that I secretly just want to lean into this because I have a lot of that in me where, like the other day, there was a lady that brought a dog into the gas station. Not a service dog, not a tiny dog you're holding. It's a dog that's in the gas station, right? It took everything out of me to not tell that lady, get your fucking dog out of this gas station. I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Larry David wouldn't stand for that.
No, he wouldn't. And I thought of Larry David when it was happening. I was like, don't do it, Dave. Do not fucking do it. You are the mayor of this city. Do not tell people to fuck off for bringing their dogs inside. But at the same time, I went up to the cashier and I go, what's with the dog? What's with the dog? Because I don't know. Is there a dog? Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't see the dog? The one dog that's in this store that's right there. Do you see what's with the dog?
It certainly does suck.
I would have gone and pet the dog.
The dog.
I would not have done that.
Outside. I think, let's go outside so I can pet the dog where it belongs.
Yeah, I get it, right? You love your dog. But we're not talking about like you went into the pet store or like even Walmart.
It can wait in the fucking car for 2 minutes.
Yeah, you went into the gas station.
You went into a building that has a donut case.
It took
with your dog.
Yeah, it took longer for you to get the dog out of the car than it would have been for you to be in the fucking building. So anyways, I want Larry David to come in on that minute. I want to do like Super Smash Brothers where you call in like the support character. Like I just want to call in Larry David to just tell people to fuck off whenever I need him. I just want to pay someone to be my Larry David. Larry, stop. This person is just trying to get some groceries, Larry. Yeah. All right, Lex.
You do that to me sometimes.
He calls you to tell you to bitch somebody out.
He tells me what the problem is and I solve it.
We call it 100% Gabe Johnson. I say, give me 85% Gabe Johnson, not 100% Gabe Johnson. Then Gabe Johnson comes in with the hammer. Excellent choice, Larry David, off the board. Scott, let us continue.
No, back to you.
It's your turn.
Oh, it is me. You are correct. I was thinking I was at the end, but you are correct. It is my selection. I like Larry David. Because of that, I am going to go with Newman.
Hello, Newman.
My reasoning for selecting Newman is I just went back and watched some stuff on him, and it's fun when there's a character in a sitcom that everyone hates, but not like the Steve Urkel where they're then allowed to be funny. Newman is just despised to the point where he's just in this meddling character that is there at all times, right up to the very end, where he is sitting in the courtroom in the last episode eating chips while they're in demise. That is an excellent villain, where he's just like, I told you, you fucks were going to get screwed. And then he just sits there and eats chips, which is, of all things in a courtroom, that's what got me, was the chips. Like because talk about Larry David. You think that Jerry Seinfeld wasn't turning around and being like, what's with the chips?
The crunching. Enough with the crunching.
Enough with the crunching. So Newman is off the board. I'm also a fan of Seinfeld. Wasn't growing up, however, have learned to love it mostly because of Curb Your Enthusiasm and how much I loved Larry David. That is why I am selecting the villain of the show Seinfeld, Newman. Scott, back to you.
I'm going to take Skylar.
Oh, that's a good one.
Boy, is she annoying.
From the pilot.
Oh, yeah.
It's his birthday. And
Yeah.
she's giving him the sad hand job, but she's on her phone, like on eBay.
She's the one with the really important problems.
I don't know if I've seen the pilot.
The first episode?
Yeah, the first episode is the pilot, yeah.
I don't remember that part.
Oh, man.
Right, it set her up to be the villain the whole time.
Yes, yes. I think there's some people that, and this is why I like it as a selection, there's some people that would argue that that's not a villain character, and you're wrong. You're wrong. Watch that show again. She is what you don't like about wives times 1,000. Times 1,000. The man is dying of cancer.
And he's making the best damn meth anybody's ever seen.
Yep. Yeah.
And you're just getting in his way.
When
Foiling his plot.
Well, he's just trying to set his family up.
Yes.
When she breaks bad, she just goes pure evil.
Yeah. Yes. And he is actually trying to do something for you and your son. And God damn it, why can't you see that? Why can't you see that, you bitch?
You stupid bitch.
It's an excellent
Everything
selection.
Dave hates about wives.
Trying to do something nice for you.
He could have came home with flowers, and she would have told him it was the wrong kind of flowers.
Yep.
These flowers will kill our cat.
She would have said, you use the Discover card? You don't use the Discover card.
Oh, God. You're giving me flashbacks of that show. My God. What a great show, though, honestly.
Yeah, it's one of my top 5 favorite shows of all time, for sure. Start to finish, I think it's great.
Yeah, I started it late. I thought it was one of those that was going to fall apart, and so I was like, all right, I'm done with this, and I kind of put it aside. I do this a lot. In season 2 of a lot of shows, I walk away like halfway through. And I thought for sure Breaking Bad was going to be one of those that was just like, okay, I get where this is going. How can you continue this forever? It's kind of like I said with like the shows like Weeds, right? It's like, okay, how long can you sell drugs to children before you get caught? You know, it's like, how long can you make the best meth before you get caught? And that's what makes that show so fucking great.
unlike the other shows we've talked about that have not enjoyable endings or downright piss poor endings, this had a pretty good ending. This was satisfactory.
It was very in line with all of the characters, which is so rare. I didn't think there was any character where because that happens a lot, where towards the end of shows they got to spice it up or they got to figure something out. So everyone's character completely changes, and I hate that because you've created who these people are. Yeah, let them live out what they are, including Skylar. Let her live out her bullshit. But it's one of those that once it's done, you feel it build, and then you get to the end and you're like, okay, satisfied.
Yeah,
satisfied.
Yeah, it absolutely satisfactory ending. It gets done and you're like, okay,
yeah,
done.
Yeah, done. Unbelievable. How did that happen? I didn't know we were allowed to. Favorite character from the show?
I mean, Mike.
Okay.
Mike's awesome.
Okay.
He's just always in the right place at the right time doing what needs to be done.
Mike's cool.
I like that.
But as far as like performance, as like acting, Jesse does a incredible job.
Yeah.
In like, I think it's the last season or the fourth season when he screams, he can't keep getting away with this. It's like, Jesus. Like one of those things you're like, fucking hey, that guy acted the fuck out of that
What
scene.
did Bryan Cranston do to him?
Yeah, and from what that character starts off as,
right?
It's kind of a little weasel, snively little he's a little bitch.
He's a little punk.
Yeah, he's a little
punk bitch.
Yeah, to begin with.
Yeah, his character arc is probably the biggest growth.
Yeah,
I'm going to say Saul though. I liked Saul.
Oh,
Saul's awesome.
Well, so much that they were able to do a spinoff, and I'll hand it to them. It didn't feel like Game of Thronesy, where it's like, why did you end the show if you're just going to continue the show? That's a different show.
Yep.
Which is really cool. Like it's the same universe, taking a character from that universe and making a totally different show. That's very rare. Typically you have spinoffs that are just the same shit. And
just the actors who are willing to stay on and continue doing it. But this,
we just wanted to keep doing the show.
Yeah, then why not continue with the show, right?
Because the star doesn't want to anymore.
Well, yes. However, I don't know if that's typically or always the case with like Game of Thrones. Ain't none of those stars walking away from those contracts. That wasn't happening at that point. So excellent selection. Okay, is that on to Gabe, right?
No,
Scott again.
So where are you?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
To Gabe, I have another one, and then you. Gabe is as far away as possible.
I'm struggling today. Continue, Scott.
I'm going to take the chicken from Family Guy.
Okay, I think that solidifies my selection then. Yeah. Okay, talk about it.
He's just an agent of chaos. You never know when he's going to show up, and when he does, shit's getting fucking real.
Oh, yeah, and that nice chicken outside gave me this coupon.
I'm sorry, this is expired.
You son of a...
I'm swearing a lot on this episode. I apologize.
That's okay. It's a villain episode. Maybe this will be the first episode where you just let the fucks fly. Go with it. I want to hear about this though, because yes, you are absolutely correct. In a show that is nothing about breakaways, right? It is a character that shows up, and you're like, oh well, we're now on a 15-minute journey.
Yeah, here we go.
What's gonna happen next?
They need to break away in the middle of a chicken fight. Why don't they ever do that? That's like the time, right in the middle of the chicken fight, and then have a different chicken fight.
Yeah. But it's always super over the top. I mean, and really well animated usually. Like the amount of time that they have to spend putting those together, and like the choreography for the fight to, he gets punched off the bridge and falls onto a semi, and then next thing you know, the chicken's waiting on the next bridge over, or it's him waiting on the next bridge over, and it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's always fun.
I'm glad you said that, because as someone that has done animation, every time I see that, I'm like, you have no idea how much time this took. Like there are things you can do in regular episodes where when someone's talking, there's only so many things you have to animate. And you can stretch, and they do that a lot. You cannot stretch a fight between a man and a chicken because there's no
moving objects.
Moving objects that's going all different places, traversing the city.
Yeah, and from the very beginning too of this show, they had that whole concept, so much so that when we went back and pulled up some stuff from Adult Swim, some of the first Adult Swim previews for Family Guy were just the family fighting each other in the same way,
Right.
where it's just them beating the shit out of each other. That was just it on-running gag from the beginning, and it works every goddamn time.
No, the chicken's the perfect villain because Peter hates him.
Yes.
And every time he shows up, you know exactly what's going to happen.
On site.
The only thing it's missing is like a WWF theme song for the villain.
Sure.
He should just hear it, and you should hear it.
Yeah,
and
like Stone Cold, glass breaking.
Yes. Yeah. And here he comes. Excellent choice.
Thank you.
Excellent choice.
Chicken gave me a bad coupon.
All right, so it's back to me.
Good call.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I actually know what we're doing today. I promise. I am going to go with the gang from Always Sunny.
Nice.
There you go.
And mostly because I didn't get Larry David. I am going to combine Newman and the gang from Always Sunny into Larry David. I am making my own Voltron. I love characters that are just pieces of shit, but don't know that they're pieces of shit.
No, everybody else is the piece of shit.
Yeah, everyone else fucking sucks. And I will say this about Always Sunny. This is from the moment that show came on, I was in college and I immediately was doing the thing where I was like, you have to watch this. It was FX. And at the time, FX had just started.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the first FX shows that I remember for sure, but I think it was right out the gate. I spent so much time telling people to watch this show, and the first season happens and they do okay. And it's really funny. And I loved it. And then they almost didn't get a second season. And they were told, you got to bring on an actual named character or an actual character or actor that people would know. And so Danny DeVito joining the cast is what saved the show.
Right.
And his introduction is so fucking fantastic, where he shows up in the car scene where they just back up and run. Like, that whole fucking thing is so great. That show is amazing. But when they started, the problem that show has at the beginning is they're just passing the baton as they talk.
Right.
So you have, I've ran into this problem when I've tried to write things before as well. Writing multiple characters is very tough because you just hand the stick to the next character and then he continues the same monologue. And so the first handful of episodes, and I would argue probably the first season of that show, they're all the same character.
Right.
And they did such a good job of eventually making these people go in different directions. Like, Dennis is one of the greatest characters in the history of television. And he is a true fucking villain. Like, he is a true villain, but all of them are, and they don't know it. They all think that they are decent
But Mac
human
and
beings.
Charlie are too stupid to know it. Dennis knows he's a villain.
Yes. And same thing with Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito knows damn well that what he's getting himself into, but he doesn't care enough because he's just a sociopath. And same thing with Dee. Dee is an absolute sociopath as well. It's a great combination, and it's the only one on our board here that was multiple people. so I like that idea, but more so than anything is just where they went from season 1 to where they are now. You created characters that you know what these characters are going to do in certain situations, and yet it's still funny and it's still surprising. It's very well done. Very well written villains.
Longest running sitcom in history.
Crazy. I, as a high school kid, a college student, watching this show and then telling everyone I knew about it, I never would have thought this is going to stick around. This is one of those things where I was like, this is for sure going away. So, yeah.
How many seasons are they on now?
A lot.
15?
Yeah, I haven't even watched the last handful of them, just because it's, it always just shows up and it's only like 10 episodes. So it'll show up and then eventually I'll catch it on Hulu or whatever it is. The last one I think I watched was when they went to Ireland. So I don't even know how many seasons back that is. Because they just show. It's kind of like Adventure Brothers. It just shows up when they want it to show up, and it's very short. So
It's Venture Brothers, not Adventure
Did I say
Brothers.
Adventure?
You said Adventure
Oh.
Brothers. How dare you, sir?
Excuse me, Venture Brothers. Sorry, brother. All right. We are on to Gabe.
Nailed it.
Final two selections.
It's a tough call here. Have 4 good options on the board. I'm going to go with Caillou.
I was going to say, there's no way you don't take Caillou, right? I almost took Caillou first just because I knew you wanted him.
I was going Caillou.
So most of these villains have a protagonist that you know or have faith that the good guy is going to stop them.
Yes.
With Caillou, there's nobody. There's nobody. This is like a realistic, whiny little brat of a miserable little kid who manipulates everybody around him, and nobody is going to stop. There's nothing we can do about it. There is no Batman ain't coming in to save the day.
And there's no end to the show either. This show will go on for eternity.
Caillou.
My daddy promised to take me tomorrow.
Scott, thoughts on Caillou?
Never seen it. I didn't even know until last night that it wasn't Caillou.
Oh, well, he would probably strangle you in your sleep.
Caillou thought that was a great idea.
Okay, Gabe, last selection.
Gonna go off the board.
Oh, off the board.
Going South Park.
Oh.
Cartman.
Okay.
What a stupid bitch.
I don't know. We've talked South Park a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, Cartman is like Dennis, I guess. He knows he's evil. He enjoys it. And everybody hates him. And he's best friends with these other 3 guys, but they all hate him. And he's just an agent of chaos and evil and shenanigans.
Not cool. Totally lame.
Yeah, he cooks some poor kid's parents into chili in like the first 3 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably should talk about that. Yeah, of all the things, like Dennis has done some weird, like the Dennis system, I'm trying to remember if that's the same episode, but the one where the episode where Dennis infiltrates the hippies.
Yes.
And he announces what he's going to do. He's going to infiltrate their gang, the guy's girl, and then he's going to tie him to this tree that this guy is trying to save. That is one of the best plot lines of anything. But that is not feeding someone's dead parents to them in chili.
It's pretty evil.
Oh my God! Yes! Yes! Oh, let me taste your tears, Scott. Your tears are so yummy and sweet. Dude, I think it might be best for us to never piss Cartman off again. Good call. Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy. Yummy.
I think you could get away with it in chili. Chili and stew. I think you could get away with it. Most other things, even tacos, I think you'd be like, this is my parents.
Rice and fava beans.
This is my parents.
Excellent selection. Excellent selection. And that is your full list then. So Gabe has Joffrey, Larry David, Caillou, and Cartman. Quite the combination. I have the Trinity Killer, Newman, and the gang from Always Sunny. Scott, you have Gordon Ramsay, the chicken, and I'm missing one from you. Skyler, yep. I am going to stay on the board. I'm not going to go off the board. And my selection is going to be Carmen Sandiego.
Why? Yeah. I knew you were going to say that.
You keep stealing.
Okay, let's hear it.
In a show that is just about kids trying to win prizes, Carmen Sandiego has devised the one thing that no fucking kid could ever win.
Geography
in Africa. No offense to the people of Africa, but I have watched many episodes of that show in my life, and I don't remember a single fucking kid ever winning.
Carmen Sandiego.
So those kids come on that show, and they all think that they are smarter than shit, and they're all going to catch Carmen Sandiego, and she has used the dumbest, ridiculous villains to steal huge things, massive things.
Yeah.
The Sphinx.
Yeah. The
Eiffel Tower. Yeah.
Those are the 2 things I was thinking.
Can anybody name another one?
Probably the heads
Empire
from
State Building or something.
Probably
Mount Rushmore.
There we go. That's got to be one. The heads from Easter Island is probably one. But she's used a bunch of ridiculous people to do her bidding. They steal amazing things somehow, and she never gets caught. And the only way to catch her is to solve geography in Africa. You would think that some child, while watching this show, because it ran for multiple seasons, that some kid would have came prepared to solve geography in Africa. Impossible. I've learned that it is impossible. So in terms of a villain, some of these other people are feeding dead parents to them in Chile. This person is just denying children of trips to San Diego.
All expense paid.
If there has been a better villain, it never gets caught. Impossible to catch her. So I am absolutely going with Carmen Sandiego.
Tell me where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego.
Scott, wrap this episode up.
Yeah, I would like to go off the board, but I can't think of any ones that are any good. So last night I did a little bit of reading to try and figure out why Gabe hates Caillou so much.
Yep.
And then the Gordon Ramsay video thing. The other one that I read a little bit about was, and is my selection, Zach from Saved by the Bell.
Yep.
There was a list of like 10 things from 10 different episodes that this motherfucker has done to like getting Screech to sneak photos of girls in bathing suits to make a calendar out of them so they can make money, pretending to be disabled so he can kiss a girl. Like, there's a lot of really shitty things that this kid did.
But always did it with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And convinced you, the audience, that he was not pure evil.
Yeah. It's all fun. He's the protagonist.
Time out.
Yeah. I'm out. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to do this terribly shitty thing.
And did it consistently, not just at school. He goes and works at a resort on the beach for a summer.
Yeah.
And is just a shithead there as well.
Yeah, I think he did one where he was like a call center, like a I don't know about like a call center, but like people would call in for like relationship advice, and he was just telling them all to break up with their girlfriends, whatever. One, I think he talked with one boy to get him to break up with his girlfriend so that he could get with her. This guy sucks.
It is crazy to me that show started off as Good Morning Miss Bliss, and it was like a sappy, like the same type of Boy Meets World type of, here's this teacher that's going to bring these kids into the world. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, you know what? We're going to stop that. I like this kid. I like the cut of his jib. Let's have him just be a shithead.
Let's have him be all rapey.
Yeah. Deceiving. Just deceives everyone all the time.
It is interesting because it is just presented as mischief.
Right. Harmless fun.
Yeah. But he's like changing people's grades, like doing things that will have actual lasting effect on people's lives.
Right. Yeah.
Cheating to get an A in geography.
Yeah.
He failed that Africa unit.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. South America as well. I think it's crazy because I loved that show. I was of the perfect age when that was out because it was one of the first shows that was actual actors, like
sitcom
live action
for kids.
Sitcom for kids, yeah. Saturday morning, NBC. And we watched it religiously. I love that show. Still love that show. But it is interesting. It is interesting going back and realizing like some of these characters actually care. Like Slater sucks, but he cares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just trying to be a kid that's trying to be cool, but also trying to just get through his life. Like his dad kind of fucking sucks. He's like a military. Like at some point, he's we're getting moved because we're in the military. He just wants to just be a good human being. And
I'm pretty sure Zach does something shitty for that episode too.
Of course he does. That's the premise of the show.
Gets his dad dishonorably discharged.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, now you don't have to move.
It is very much Always Sunny in Philadelphia, only the rest of the characters don't fucking suck like him.
Yeah.
They're always trying to get him not to be such a
Sure.
But yet they still hang out with him.
That's an interesting point. Maybe, are all the characters from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia Zach Morris?
I think they are. For sure, Zach Morris grows up to be Dennis, for sure. for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're on to something.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. That is the natural progression. The after years or the college years or whatever they called it, that was just priming him to then become the dentist system for sure. Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
It does make perfect sense. That is an excellent selection to end us off. I was hoping you would pick it because I know that's kind of become something on the internet now where people go back and say that, but go back and watch that show. I have done so with my kids. My daughter loved that show. Go back and watch that show and then tell me that, wow, this guy really is a sociopath. These things are kind of harmful. That's not so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to change somebody's life for the worse.
Yeah, definitely for the worse. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the draft. Scott finishing us off. Gordon Ramsay, Skyler, the worst.
That's a huge bitch.
The chicken from Family Guy, and then Zach Morris. I was with the Trinity Killer, Newman, the gang, and Carmen Sandiego. And then Gabe, Joffrey, Larry David, Caillou, and Cartman.
Kickers.
Quite the combination. Quite the combination. All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are our picks for the villains. Obviously, you know, there were some selections that didn't get made. Shredder from TMNT. I will argue, actually, that's the only one. That is the only one on our list that did not get selected.
Yeah.
Shredder, I will argue, the problem with him is on the TV show, he's kind of an idiot.
Right.
Kind of an idiot. He's not the bad
Shades
guy.
of Ganon from the Legend of Zelda cartoon.
Yeah. He kind of just fucks up all the time.
Yeah.
And unlike Carmen Sandiego, his idiots that he has in go do things never succeed, always fail.
No, they're pretty bad at their job.
They're pretty bad at their job. And then he has someone above him that just gets mad at him and yells at him. So an excellent choice.
Gordon Ramsay.
Okay, I was going to say, is that Gordon Ramsay?
Gordon Ramsay. Definitely Gordon Ramsay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this episode here. We are at the point where we will be selecting the name of the year for 2024. We have a number of those that we have been procuring throughout the year. However, this is your last opportunity to get those to us as well. So the way it works, if you are not in the know on the iKnowBadeaux show, we go through the news and select names from the previous year that are real names of real people, and we put them in a bracket style to see who is crowned the name of the year. We will go through the first handful of selections and make our selections to move people forward. And then from there, it is up to you, the listeners, to decide who is crowned the name of the year. We 100% stole this from somebody else.
I think they stopped doing it because it might be offensive to some.
But we don't care. We don't care. Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. I think they stopped doing it because it potentially is offensive. This was something that was going on since 1984, I think we said. And it was just something done in a dorm room and then eventually became something that was big on the internet. And we were following it, and we would just kind of keep doing the news update on it.
Right.
And tell our listeners, here's who we want you to go vote for. Mm-hmm. And then while we were gone on our hiatus, they stopped doing it. I think wasn't it with Deadspin? Isn't that who they were partnered up with?
It could have been.
Sounds right.
They partnered up with somebody like Deadspin, and then Deadspin killed it because they're too worried about offending people. We are not shy.
About silly names.
Yeah.
Of all things.
Well, they're real names.
Right.
Like, fuck off. We have one that is probably going to make it that is someone that is local. We are using that name. There is a local name that is on my list.
Is there really?
That I will fight for, and it will probably get us in trouble. But your name is great, and we will move it forward.
They're not employed by the city of Brainerd.
They're not employed by the city of Brainerd. However, they are employed by the taxpayers. Gabe's got a look on his face. But I will say this, that we're not shy about the fact that we have stolen this. If these people want to come and take it back, go right ahead. This is not our thing. We are just continuing on.
Yeah, I'd prefer they find the names for us.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. However, next episode is name of the year. So ladies and gentlemen, get those names over to us. Look through the news. Look for people that are real people. So not nicknames, but real people, and send those over to us, and we will get them into the selection next episode. We'll go through. We'll set up the bracket. We'll make the first choices. That will be all of next episode. And then from there, we will pass that on to you. So keep your eyes glued to the interwebs. That's where we'll make our selections, and we'll go from there. So thank you to the Boutros,
yes,
Scotty Pizza, and thank you to Gabriel Johnson.
No, Dave, thank you.
And with that, we're done. Okay, we got just a couple seconds.
Is it that cylinder person?
Yeah, it's the what was her last name?
I swear it's
Celinda Ring. Isn't that her name?
It's like Cylinder Ring.
Yeah, it's Celinda Ring.
Full name.
What's she do?
She works for the school district, which I don't even know who she is. I don't think it's offensive. I think that's fun.
It's fun.
I think it's fun. Right?
It's all in good fun.
I think it's all in good fun because we're not saying you're an idiot. We're saying it's name of the year. That's a pretty fucking cool name. Gabe is so worried right now. I think
Gabe
it's fun.
doesn't want to get in trouble.
I think it's fun.
I have never seen this side of him.
I was chastised not once.
Oh God,
but twice at the city council meeting last night for comments I've made in the last week.
But your comments,
comments?
Oh, whatever. We go look up at the city stuff. You get in trouble for things that people say. How dare he say that? Right? Which is nonsense. I have said this 1,000 times. We are elected officials, and there is an actual process to remove us. Go for it. Go for it. I have yet to say something that has brought people in pitchforks. You have yet to say something that's brought people in pitchforks. You've brought some discomfort to my phone list, but it is yet to be something with pitchforks. There's a process, dude. Mm-hmm. But the Celinda Ring, I think it's great. I don't know who she is. It's more of a tip of the cap to your dad because your mom went
Baxter Parks.
Is that okay? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's fine. I'm liaison to our park board. I'll give her a shout out and let her know we're doing it. Hopefully she's okay with it.
We love your name.
We're doing it anyways. We don't love everyone else's name. We're making fun of some people.
You have a great name, or as you can quote me as saying, "What kind of fucking name is that?" That's literally what I wrote.
Do that,
Scott? That's not in good fun. That is that is hurtful.
Celinda Ring, I hope that you win.
Fuck off you fat useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite.